So I'm an hour early for my kids' basketball game tonight because I screwed up. I still like to say that I make mistakes like this because of my tumors in my head, but no one believes me. But I wanted to make another video about what happened next. I ended up from the emergency room to I think it was Osborne. It was a neuro hospital where I don't know what time I got there, very late. And I know that I had a surgeon come in, doctors come in and told me that they were going to schedule me in the OR for the next day. And they would tell me that night when. And I had scans done. It was 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and doctors were in and out of the room. And they told me that 11 o'clock was the time that they got the OR to remove this tumor from my brain. And what was most interesting is looking back now, because this was in 2021, that whole hospital experience for me brought me to this thought for today, which is I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know that I had cancer, and I didn't know what stage 4 melanoma meant as far as the diagnosis or how long I would live. And what was crazy about those 4 days when I was in the hospital was two things. One, the people that I loved, and some that I no longer loved, researched what stage 4 melanoma meant. So they were all, as I like to say, running down the pier. So worrying, panicking, looking up everything. And everything that you look at stage 4 cancer isn't typically really great. So they were all freaking out and I wasn't. And also what I learned was when it was just me in the hospital, I didn't have everybody else's worries and concerns scaring me. So I didn't have people in my room saying, well, what does this mean? And what does that mean? And what are you going to do with the other 3 tumors? And what's your next treatment going to be? And those are all legitimate questions that everyone should ask, but no one was asking them, and not myself or anybody in my family. So I wasn't afraid. And it was really a peaceful experience for me. And that sounds really pathetic, that having my head sawed open would be a break for me. But at that time in my life, I didn't have to worry about anybody but me. And the staff was crazy. Oh, I'm crying again. Good. I had a doctor named Dr. Page. He was like as old as my oldest kid. And he's the one that sawed open my head. And he would visit with me. Like every morning, he would visit with me like he had all the time in the world. He wore cowboy boots. Sorry. And he would chat with me and tell me stories. And I actually enjoyed hanging out with him. And so this is my takeaway. I'm making a point. If you stop telling yourself you're sick and you're dying, your mind and your body believes you. And that's another reason why I also think it's kind of harder on the people in my family, because they were worried to death. And I didn't think to worry. And they also think long term, like what happens if I didn't make it through that surgery. So they're thinking about their life without me in it, and I wouldn't be in the life, so I wouldn't know any different. So I do think that's another thing about this cancer, is it's really, really hard on the family members. And I'm very aware of that. So that's my takeaway. So I ended up in the hospital for 4 days and had a little mini vacation. And I was shocked that a craniotomy actually hurt less than my shoulder surgery for my labrum tear. So that's my positives for the first stint in the hospital.